Welcome back to Building a Character, a series where I create creative movesets for characters as if they were in Super Smash Bros. A while ago I did an episode on Crash Bandicoot, and a lot of you called me out and said I was, quote, playing it too safe when it came to Crash's moves. You were all totally right, so for this video I decided to go back and fix up the orange marsupial to the best he can be to go against the other video game titans. As always, please think about subscribing to the channel to help me out, and like the video if you want to see more episodes of Building a Character. Alright, let's get building. Mr. Sakurai loves to modernize classic designs of video game characters for Smash. I believe if Crash were to be in Smash, he would look like a modern version of the Naughty Dog era Crash. Insane Trilogy is a good reference, minus the details in his fur and the shade of orange that they used. The Smash Ultimate Team would have a field day with Crash's color swaps and alternate costumes. Crash Team Racing Nitro Field and Crash 4 alone have an abundant number of crazy cosmetics for Crash. The most important costumes, however, reference Crash's legacy throughout many of his games. Those costumes are the Scuba Crash skin, the Biker Crash skin, and the Aviator Crash skin. Each of these skins represent a type of level Crash has been through, whether it's underwater, in the air in an airplane, or on a bike, racing enemies. Crash could have color swaps to reference other characters in his game, such as Tiny Tiger, Crunch, and Dingodile. In addition, maybe even an alternate skin with tattoos from his game, Crash of the Titans. What could be really interesting would be if Crash could change into a completely different character with a similar moveset. I am of course talking about Fake Crash and Coco. Before we get into Crash's basic moves, I want to talk about something that I mentioned in the first Building a Character of Crash Bandicoot. In my first version of this, I had Crash's side B be him riding Polar and Purah, meaning when you press side B, Crash would hop on Polar or Purah and ride them to the edge of the stage. He would not be able to change directions of the charging animals or jump off of them. However, many of you in the comments let me know that only Coco can ride Purah, and I swear I knew this, I just wasn't thinking about it when I put it in my script. But yeah, only Coco can ride Purah, so I think it would be very interesting that if Coco could be an alternate skin for Crash, that she would use Purah and he and Fake Crash would use Polar. Now I'm going to up the ante even more and say, what if Crash, when he's in his biker costume, his side B would be him riding his motorcycle, and then maybe even when he's the Aviator Crash, he will be moving over in a Crash CTR cart. I think those would be really cool references. However, I saved the best idea for last, and it is going to blow your guys' minds. Like, you are not going to be able to get up out of your chair after hearing this idea. What if Crash's side B had an Activision iconic character that people have wanted in Smash for a very long time and has direct ties to Crash Bandicoot himself? That's right. What if Crash's side B could have the purple scaled dragon Spyro come on the stage and charge people? Crash would literally be riding Spyro. I'm getting excited just thinking about it. And Spyro just charges at the enemies with his yellow horns in one direction. That would be absolutely amazing. Alright, enough of the side special talk. Let's go ahead and talk about Crash's basic moves. Now, fortunately, Crash's moves in the base games that he's in can translate very well into Smash. That being the Tornado Kick ability, his double jump, his power slide, and his belly flop. Crash's Tornado Kick is his iconic spin move. Now, in the Crash games, you can't just hold down the square button to have him continuously spin. You have to time it correctly. You have to press square repeatedly in order to keep that momentum going. I would like to translate this over into Smash. In my design of Crash, his neutral special would not be his Tornado Kick. Instead, his neutral attack would be. So you would basically take the A button and hit it once to do one quick Crash spin. You have to keep pressing it and timing it correctly to keep Crash spinning multiple times. Crash's dash attack would be his power slide move from all the games, and his down air would be his iconic belly flop. Alright, so now let's get into Crash's smash attacks. I think it'd be really cool to implement the purple crystal or the purple gem. I can't remember which one it is. Crystal, yeah. The purple crystal from Crash's games into his moveset. So his up smash would be him pointing a sword straight up in the air, but instead of it being a sword, it is the purple crystal. And he can maybe even pull it out of his mouth or pull it out of his butt and then stick it up, because that's what he does at the end of levels in the Crash games, and I think it'd be very funny and a very cool reference to those games. Many of you, and I mean many of you in the comments to my first building a character of Crash, wanted me to introduce the Fruit Bazooka into his moveset, and that's what I'm going to do. I believe that Crash's side smash could be his Fruit Bazooka. As far as down smash, I thought it would be very creative if Crash would jump up and jump back down on an embryo blob, which is a common enemy in the original Crash game, and they squirt out like goo when they get stepped on. So Crash will jump down onto a embryo enemy, and gunk will shoot out of it both sides, covering both areas, left and right. I feel like Neo Cortex needs to be in this moveset, and we have to just reference Twinsanity. So I would like Neo Cortex to be Crash's back air. That is, when Crash does a back air attack, he actually sticks out Neo Cortex, who is pretty short in size, and he flings him out real quick to hit the enemy. And I think that would be really funny. You could even hear Neo Cortex screaming or saying something. Alright, I feel kind of lazy and don't really want to go into the tilts or up airs or anything like that. I feel like they'd be pretty generic for Crash. So let's go ahead and go on towards his specials. Now, I already talked about his side special, so we're not going to do that. But his up special, his recovery, would be his jetpack from the Crash games. I think it just makes perfect sense for that to be the case. So we got up special and side special. Now we got to talk about neutral special. I'm changing neutral special. In the original building a character, I had Crash's neutral special be his tornado kick, but as I said earlier in this video, that is no longer the case. His tornado kick, I want to be his neutral attack. What I am doing for Crash's neutral special is very complicated, and once again, I am borrowing from Shulk's moveset like I did for the Sora video. Are you ready? Crash's neutral special will work like Shulk, where you hold it down and you select a quantum mask. Now, each quantum mask has a different property that references its abilities in the Crash 4 game. However, unlike Shulk's ability, you can't cancel out of this. You have to let it run its course. You cannot just keep switching either. You have a very long cooldown in between. Okay, so the first quantum mask that you can use is Lani Loli, a quantum mask that can phase things in out of reality. And how this would translate to Smash would be, if you're playing a stage with platforms, the player, when in the Lani Loli form, can actually move the platforms in and out of reality. So if someone's standing on a platform, you can make it vanish and then they'll fall down, and then you can make it appear again. You can also phase items in and out if items are on, and for competitive play, you can either phase Crash's crates in and out of reality, which I'll explain the crates in a little bit, or it would be really cool if a character has a projectile, you can actually make the projectile go out of reality and it won't hit you. That would be an interesting thing to see as well. The next quantum mask is Akano. Akano is a powerful mask that allows Crash to continuously spin. However, it is very vulnerable with TNT crates. So we would honor that. And like I said, I want to talk about crates in a minute. But if there are TNT crates or explosives, it would really hurt Crash. Maybe do like double the damage and maybe double the knockback or something like that. But Akano would be super armor. It would be a super armor attack where you don't have to keep pressing A and timing the spins correctly. All you have to do is press A once and Crash will continuously spin until you press A again when in the Akano form. However, Crash's movement and his, control will be very hard to get a hold of, because when you use Akano in Crash 4, Crash's control does get kind of wonky as well. Next we have the Quantum Mask Kapunawa, who has the ability to slow down time. What would be interesting with this ability would be Crash would have Kapunawa and then slow down time within a radius of himself, and you'll actually visibly be able to see a circle around Crash, and anybody that's in that circle will be slowed down for a brief period of time, or until Crash decides to turn that ability off for a minute, but he can also turn it back on. I keep saying Crash, but it's the player, but you get what I mean. It's the same thing. The final quantum mask is a little bit tricky because it defies gravity, meaning that when shifted on, Crash can actually go upside down, and I was thinking it would be cool if you could flip the stage, but if you have complete control of when you're flipping the stage, it could be very disorienting for the other player, and I can see that being very broken. So maybe instead Ika Ika's ability in Smash would be something in regards to Crash just having like zero gravity abilities. He's a little bit lighter. He can, you know, jump a little bit higher. I don't know. What do you guys think Ika's ability could be in Smash that's not completely broken or disorienting? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Alright, so now we're on Crash's down special, which is pretty much the same from my first video. Basically, if you press down B with Crash, he'll kind of do an automatic like tiny little jump and a box will spawn underneath him, and then he will either land back down on the box or you can move him very quickly out of the way. And that's important because sometimes the boxes that spawn are actually very dangerous to Crash and other players. Okay, so the crates are going to be RNG for some little fun, and they go as follows. You have a regular crate, a bouncy crate, a TNT crate, a nitro crate, a steel crate, and an Aku mask crate. So those are all the crates that can randomly spawn in, each one with different properties. The regular crate will just break. Well, it's really only useful if you're off stage and you're out of a jump. It can get you back on stage if you time it correctly. The bouncy crate will allow you to bounce really high, but after 2 bounces it will break on you, so you need to be careful. The TNT crate is very interesting. Once you land on it, it will count down from 3. However, if you or another enemy attacks the TNT crate, it'll just automatically explode. These can also be picked up and thrown by anybody. The nitro crate is extremely deadly, and if Crash lands on it, there is a 50-50 chance that he will actually just explode himself and lose a stock. So that is why you have Crash do a miniature jump before landing on the crate. And this goes for anybody. If anybody runs into the nitro crate, it could possibly almost instantly KO them. And then you have the steel crate, which would be used for off-ledge abilities, right, or off-ledge opportunities. So it's a very heavy crate, so if you do it off the ledge, it could slam into somebody and spike them off the stage. But if it spawns on the stage, it just can't move. It's just a solid crate, and then it'll have to just disappear on its own. Then you have the Aku crate, which will spawn in an Aku mask, which will give whoever wears Aku. So Crash could spawn it in, but then another character could break the crate and actually steal Aku. Will give them pretty much super armor for 1 hit. So that's all it'll do. Yeah, and those are the crates. Let me know if you guys have any better ideas for the crates down below, but I think this would make Crash the most unique in the game. And finally, some minor things that aren't really that important that I would like to see if Crash were in Smash. If he falls off the stage, SDs, anything like that, maybe his shoes could fly up like they do in the Crash games, or when Crash gets killed or gets KO'd, where there's like, you know, stamina, or, you know, he just gets completely annihilated off the side of the stage, you would see his ghost fly up into the heaven, which happens a lot when Crash gets hit in his games. Now, I have a lot of other crazy ideas for Crash, more specifically his stages or possible stages that could come with his DLC bundle. So if you guys are interested in that, go ahead and let me know in the comments, and let's say this video needs to get at least 20 likes in order for me to make that video, because these videos do take a lot of time and I am kind of tired of talking about Crash to this extent for now. Alright everybody, I'm OCDsaster. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing and like the video if you made it this far. I would definitely appreciate it. I will see you in the next video, and I hope you have a smash-tastic rest of your day.